Hello, myself Sunil Ramakrishnan. And today we are going to talk about the Formula Word basically, how basically Formula Word is connected with each other basically. Yet till now basically we have seen how the management industry is working, how the things are getting managed, how the text box equal to thousand cities are getting managed, and how basically things are getting handled basically we can say. And then basically we have seen basically. Uh, what is actually the formula and how basically things are connected with the formulas. Then we have saw that how basically the cyber industry is working, how the cyber world is working, how the cyber high courts is working, how the cyber supreme courts are working. Then basically we saw that how basically how the real world, that is a thousand cities equal to text box is working. And there are lots of things basically we have saw. And then basically we have saw that how banking industry is working, how banks are telling that we are investing your money at the correct place basically we can say. And how banks says that you don't worry basically investor, we have invested your money at the secure place basically you can say. So basically from this basically lots of things came comes into picture basically. That is basically that banks are also getting handled by the subset of finance industry basically you can say. Finance groups are handling the, you can say, banks basically. There are, assume there are thousand banks in the India basically. Just assume basically really there might be something, the real number might be something else. But just for example basically I am taking that there are thousand banks in this India. And the thousand bank has created thousand banks has lots of products basically to sell to the investor basically. So the banks are selling the products to the investor basically you can say, who are doing the investment, who are going to do the investment. So like this basically banks tells that basically we are also getting handled by the set of finance industry and set of finance people basically. They basically creates a set of products and basically sells to the banks basically according to the according to the investment basically data the banks have basically you can say. So banks basically banks whatever things basically are doing, that are basically tracked by the finance industry, that also you can say basically. Because they are telling that for example there are few banks basically they are connected with that area, and a few banks are connected with that area. Like this basically there are 15 banks basically which are connected with each and every areas, and different areas basically you get that. So according to that basically they have got the business to do the business development of the banks from the according to the data which is given by the certain groups basically you can say. That is basically the banking industry groups basically got the data basically you can say. Like this basically you can say the banks have got the set of data, and according to the set of data the according to the set of data the banks basically says that the we have collected the data. And then basically according to the data basically we have already have the data and set of industry, and basically we also have collected the lots of data. And according to the data which they have, according to that basically they got the invest and got the products basically we can say. So the products basically are connected with the set of data also you can say. Because if the product is very highly cost basically, then basically many low level people basically can't purchase that product basically you can say. The people who is having salary of 10 lakh rupees per annum, 12 lakh rupees per annum, they basically can't purchase. The basically who have salary annually crore rupees basically minimum, they basically can have the nice investment basically. So like this basically the investment amount is also connected with the salary of the people basically who are whose salary is less than 7 lakh, 7 to 6 lakh basically. Then basically there is no need to do the investment basically related to tax basically. In real basically they want to do, if they want to do the investment they can, they then basically they can do. But in tax related things basically they don't need the investment. Like this each and every slabs are also getting changed according to the according to the basically you can say investment the bank want to do. So basically this slab basically is also connected with the set of budget. Basically you can say the budget which the finance minister passes, and the finance minister which finance minister groups basically they prepares the budget. According each, and the budget is also connected with the salary basically you can say. So salary slab basically you can say tax salary slab. So basically you can say small retailer, small basically you can say like 10 to 12 lakh salary earning people also gets effect to the from it also gets gives effect in the budget basically. So basically I they here basically I want to say that the budget basically which is prepared by the finance industry basically finance minister and finance minister groups and the finance handling group basically they basically handles they creates the budget, and according to the budget basically the salary tax slabs are also decided. And if we see in vice versa basically, because the employee salary basically whatever they gets and the tax basically they pay, the amount of the budget amount of the income of the Indian government basically that are basically you can say 30 to 40 percentage you can say. So it's a big amount basically that also you can say. So according to the salary which is getting, and according to that the slab is slab according to the salaries basically the slabs gets prepared. And like this according to that budget also might be getting prepared basically that also you can say, because the business industry is also connected with the salary only. Whatever the salary basically peoples are getting, according to that only they get the business basically that also you can say. Like this because each and every businessman basically are connected with the set of retail industry. So they are not basically into the corporate big level industry, but the most of basically people who are the budget who basically are connected with the budget, they are most of basically people are in the retail industry, and they get the money from the retail groups basically you can say. And like this basically retail groups are getting the money from the customer, and the customer basically they are basically sell right person, and few are basically normal businessmen. Like this basically each and every things are connected you can say, and vice versa is also there basically you can say. Like this we are basically discussing that how budget is also getting prepared. So here basically we had talked about the budget also. So in the formula basically you can say budget information is also added basically. So here basically we have saw that budget information is also added basically, and budgets are connected with the set of attributes and set of data basically which budget industry basically you can say finance industry gets. And like this basically each and every things are basically connected with the formula is getting connected basically you can say. In formula the new things which was connected that was basically budget of the finance industry basically inside you can say. And the banks basically says that we are not basically preparing the products basically, that is basically prepared by the set of finance group basically, and finance group basically handles the products basically, and the products are basically created on the base of the requirement which is basically you can say the requirement which uh, government says that this much investment we have to do. So investment basically that is basically GDP you can say, the GDP which target basically each and every country gets, because majorly basically the each and every country basically are connected with the GDP only. The investment basically directly connected with the GDP you can say, the how much basically development the country have to do up to the certain areas, up to the this area that area, each and every area basically that need to create basically and to maintain basically, and up to the GDP level basically you have to do the development basically. So basically you can say that growth development of the country basically that is also connecting here in the formula word basically. So according to the GDP also you can say the formula of each and every words and each and every attributes also will get effect. That also very bad, that also very big level effect gets effect, because according to the GDP only the each and every growth basically or development of the country basically are decided. And basically like this basically banks are also connected with the GDP only, because according to the GDP, the investment happens. According to that, basically the profit and loss happens. So banks are also connected with the retail industry. Retail industry says that we are connected with the salary industry, salary groups, and whatever salary we get, according to that, basically we do the investment. And like this tax industry says that we have defined the certain tax on the base of the salary, basically, which the major where the salary structure, basically we have that each and every sector have how much salary structure. So according to that, we prepare the salary tax slab, and tax slab is connected with the investment, because according to that only the investments are getting handled. And then basically according to that, basically budgets are prepared, and basically budgets, finance industry says that according to that, basically we have to prepare the budget, because budget says that we want this much money, and we are going to invest in this much money in this whole industry, basically. And we have taken one example of Adani Group, basically how basically that was invested money like this. Basically this was basically I read it somewhere. It might be wrong and it might not be wrong. So basically, like this, the investment also happens in the country by the big businessmen, and few people says that big businessmen, basically are equal to government employees, and are basically government employees. That also somebody has told that because in few people says that Indian government don't trust anyone, any of the country. So basically, according to that, basically they have prepared their own businessman, that is basically government employees. So basically, lots of things are basically there which are connected with each other, because it's connected with the trust. Basically, nobody trust, no country basically trust each another, because each and everywhere basically the files are signed, because without sign of the file, basically nothing investment happens, because that means basically files are getting signed, each and every things are getting signed. That means no country basically trust each other, basically that is basically main thing. Because there is no if the trust is there, then basically why the sign is required. That's why basically the uh, procedure itself says that basically the countries are not trusting with each other. Like this, basically lots of things are there, basically each and every things are there, basically which are connected with each other. And each and every formulas are basically, they say that for example, the project management plan is prepared, then project management plan is basically approved by the directors, by the clients, and by they are basically taken as a sign off also, basically that is basically the sign has to be taken by the client. And like this, basically project director have to do the sign, project manager have to do the sign, and lots of things are basically there which are very basically non-trustable, basically you can say. Non-trustable means it means basically nobody trusts each other, basically that is the main thing. Because the document is prepared, according to that document you have to work. So each and every things are there, basically that you are going to work according to the document which is prepared by the management, by the director, by the project manager. So like this, basically each and every industries are connected off with the formula word also, formula attribute also. Like this, lots of things are there. Basically, like this, basically we were discussing about the 55th part, basically, and 56th part we are going to discuss little bit more about the formula word.